Brothers and sisters, we all claim to be, or we all are, the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But are we the servants of the Most Gracious? Are we the servants of Ar-Rahman? And the first question that may pop in your head, or should pop in your head, is what's the difference? Technically there isn't any difference, because Ar-Rahman, the Most Gracious, is an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's an attribute. But this attribute, He subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions a great reward, or most gracious reward, for those who follow some characteristics and attributes or personal traits or characteristics that these people may have. They have an extra special reward, and inshallah we will discuss some of these things. So Allah is the most gracious, we know that. But what's the significance of Ibad al-Rahman, or the servants of the most gracious? In order to figure out the significance, I'd like to jump to a different chapter and talk about a different verse, which is chapter 82, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal insanu ma gharraka bi rabbika al-kareem. O mankind, what has deceived you, or what has fooled you of your Lord, the most generous? Now usually when somebody is asking a question, if somebody disobeys somebody and there's a way of kind of teaching them a lesson, you wouldn't say, why did you do this? Don't you know that I am so-and-so? And you express your power. So Allah does not say here, O mankind, what has deceived you from your Lord? He could have said the mighty, or the powerful, or the supreme. But He said the Kareem, the most generous. And why is your Lord the most generous? It's because, if you read the next verses, الَّذِي خَلَقَكَ فَسَوَّاكَ فَعَدَلَكَ فِي أَيِّ صُورَةٍ مَا شَاءَ رَكَّبَكَ. Because He created you. He fashioned you perfectly, and He gave you due proportion. In whatever form He will, He put you together. Basically, it's because of His generosity that He gave us this form and shape that we have that's perfect. Down to the cellular level. It's perfect. And as a result, He is the most generous. And then since some of us become heedless, or we stray, or we forget, He's reminding us. He said, what is deceiving you? What is making you forget or careless about your Lord? The most generous that gave you this beautiful body. Going back to the topic at hand, which is the servants of the Most Gracious. And this is the same kind of theme. The reason we're using Most Gracious, or the reason the Most Gracious is used instead of Allah, or the Most Powerful, is because the Most Gracious reward that will come afterwards. So I'm going to go